Okay, we're starting a new series on electricity for your RV, and we're going to be talking about direct current, also known as batteries.
RV Mentor, RVing for Newbies, ethics disclaimer. All the tools being used, the items being installed or reviewed were purchased by RV Mentor. The only exceptions will be denoted in the next slide in this video, giving the name of the manufacturer, the items, and how they were acquired, donated, etc. The things stated in this video are the opinions of RV Mentor and are just that, opinions, but are based on 13 years of being an RV owner and being an RV inspector. Let's get on with the video.
All right, we're going to be talking about, we're going to start off with flooded lead acid type batteries. So safety is always of the utmost concern. You see you got a handful of wires hanging off of there, and we'll talk about the different color wires and why this is an issue in a little while. But for now, let's take a look at maintenance on a lead acid battery. Safety is of the utmost importance. If you're going to be playing with lead acid batteries, you need to wear gloves. You don't want to get the acid spilled on you. Trust me, it will eat through your gloves, it will eat through your skin. So let's take a look. Maintenance on these batteries. Lead acid batteries, they literally have acid in them and lead plates. So one of the things you need to check is you need to take a look inside. Let's take a look. As you can see, inside those cells there is liquid. That is literally acid. You don't want to get it on yourself like I talked about before. So let's take a peek at what the specific gravity is using a relatively cheap meter to see how many of the little balls float to tell you whether the acid is good in the battery or not. So using this little device, it's basically a battery checker. We're going to take and pull some of the acid into the floaty. Then you're going to shake it a bit because you want to see how many of these guys float. Fill it up, pretty much to that line. Tap it kind of hard. And you want to see how many of those balls are going to float. So you're looking at this and you can see that the 4 balls are floating. That tells you that the battery's in good shape based upon the acid. We scored it into this cup which has a little bit of distilled water in it so we can rinse it out. Now, just for fun, let's try a different one and see if it makes any difference. Okay. And we're being attacked by a bee. Okay, so you always tap them. You always tap it to make sure that these guys don't have any bubbles on them that's keeping them from going up and not playing nice. And you can see we got 4 of them floating here too. So let's rinse out the acid. We didn't take that much out, so we don't have to worry about filling these guys back up. But they should be filled to the top of the cells. Now let's take a look at that. All right, as you can see, we'll go from one side to the other. Lots of junk and corrosion and crap, but not a big deal. But then look at each of these 6 things. You can see each of these 6 holes, you can see that the acid is all the way to the top. And that's something you need to check for when you're looking at a lead acid battery. Then one of your maintenance items is making sure that there's water to the top. Now, what if there isn't? What kind of water can you use to fill those back up? You use distilled water only. Do not use tap water. Do not use the water from the campground. You want some distilled water to help not destroy your battery. That's pretty much all there is when it comes to the maintenance side of lead acid batteries. All right, so let's put the caps back on. Safety first. Got our gloves on. All right. Make sure they're in nice and solid. Taking a look at wires. If you take a look at this battery right now, it has 4 wires hanging off of it. All right, let me bring you in a little closer so you can see. There is what appears to be a red and a white wire hanging off of there. The reality is it's red and black. All right, so what you may end up seeing quite often on these guys is a white wire and a black wire. And this is the negative side. of the battery. You also are looking at the positive side of the battery, which has a black wire and a red wire. So think about this. If my battery wire on the right is solid black, we'll say, and I got a black wire on the left and a black wire on the right, is this confusing or what? So a lot of times in your AC, notice the B, a lot of times in your AC setup, you have black wires, you have white wires, you have bare or green copper wire. That's your ground wire. Your black wire is normally hot. Your white wire is normally your neutral. And a lot of times with your DC applications with batteries, you have a red wire, which is your hot wire. You have a black wire, which is your negative. So when people use AC wire to hook up to batteries, which it happens very, very often, if this wire here was completely black, let's say, just for argument's sake, right? This is your black wire. Right? So you've got basically a black and a white wire here, and a black and a red wire here. If you were to take these off, how do you know which one goes where? Which black wires goes to the positive and which one goes to the negative? Two different colored electrical tape, red and black. I highly recommend you go through this procedure, especially if you have more than one wire on your batteries. Take your red, tape these guys together, right? Doesn't have to be a lot of tape, just enough so that you know after you take it off, the red goes to the positive side. Let's tape up the black side. Now, when you look at this later, if you go to take these wires off, always take negative off first. We'll talk about that in a minute. And they're down underneath the RV somewhere, moving around, whatever, since you may be swapping batteries or doing some kind of maintenance. When you go to hook these back up, you can now see, well, wait a minute. I know which one should go where. Red always goes to the positive, black always goes to the negative. So you'll know that I need to go, okay, this one here and this one here, since I have the red tape, that goes here. It helps when you put it on, right? You can crank this down, and then you can take, this is the black side, we'll put the black ones on next. Okay. Does that make sense? Red on positive, black on negative.